Hello, welcome to another Friday artwork video. So I don't have any theme decks for Legions, which is this week's set we're up to in terms of syncing everything up with my Deck Musings episode and my Commander Fodder episode. So as always, I just throw in a theme deck that I do have for a period in the future. And I decided to dig out this rather nice Dissension Simic Mutology deck. Yeah, Mutology. I always have trouble with these. And we'll go through it in the usual way. We'll do a zoomed out version so you can see the cards, and then I'll go through with single instances close up for the artwork. Next week, when I come to do this, I do actually have a Scourge deck, so that'll be cool. So I've got that Goblin Mob deck. If anybody's watched this channel for a while, remember I did an unboxing for that way back. And so I'll revisit that again, close-up treatment. And then what's going to be nice is, as we move through December, because this video is going out around December 2023, November 2023 into December 2023, between like when I shoot it and when it gets released. So we're then entering into the period of the customary Yuletide video. There'll be a Land Hoy episode at some point, and I'll do some sort of X days of Christmas type video again this year, and probably a couple of other themed videos for around this time of year, which I haven't quite decided on as well. But also a nice thing that's going to happen is I will sync everything up as we move beyond Scourge into 8th edition. I do again have stuff I've opened. So for 8th edition, I'm going to get back to a position where I'll have a video on the Monday, which will be a set musings, a deck musings for that period, like some sort of tournament deck for around the time 8th edition was released. And then a Commander Fodder for an 8th edition card. And then some cards from 8th edition from my binders. So I'm really looking forward to that. And what I'll do is I'll sync that up so that starts in the first full week in January, whatever that is. So yeah, sync everything up. So the nice thing in December is you're going to get this nice mix of, it's not really filler videos, but just the usual December themed videos plus some other stuff where I need to fill a slot. So yeah, I'll pull up some interesting stuff. I'm just going to be running the Saturday morning like Commander artwork videos as usual, and they should, again, I'm trying to think this through because I always shoot a week ahead, but it looks like the run starting this Saturday after I shoot this video, it's going to be a run of 5 decks, which will neatly cover December, and then ready to go in January, whatever Commander product I have left that I haven't looked at yet. So yeah, everything's going to sync up nicely with a few wiggles here and there. Anyway, let's move on to why we're here, but I thought it'd be cool to just talk a little bit about what to expect in terms of these both on camera videos and the ones I do on the computer. So yes, this is Simic Mutology. I'll include a link to the original unboxing. The twisted biologists of the Simic Guild have taken nature into their own hands and warped it beyond belief. Their experiments, especially those with the graft mechanic, have produced creations freakier than any Ravnica has seen before. I think I have 2 other decks from this period actually, so no doubt I'm hoping to also cover these sometime after I do the Scourge deck. Again, just to act as a nice December video. So before we get on to the bonus card, the promo card, and the deck itself, let's have a look at these inserts. So with this one, it is just the deck over the period of the theme decks we've been looking at. You've seen it flip-flop between, you know, all the decks plus some information, just the deck, all the decks, and then we're back to just the deck from that set. So there's the nice deck list. We've got a bit about playing the deck, how you might play it. Let's see what's on the flip side here. So yeah, so with these they also gave you a bit of information about the set itself in terms of what to expect, themes, mechanics, those sort of things. So split cards, forecast, hellbent, graft. You know, the whole block was like a various guilds, 2-colour guilds, and as a consequence, they at the time they sort of broke it down, whereas the 3 sets had a certain amount of guilds in them, so that by the end, when you got to Dissension, it was all 10 guilds represented in there. Okay, there's our nice foil bonus card, or whatever you want to call it. They used to put in these theme decks. There we go. Let's have a look. So, one copy of Experiment Crash. It's one of the rares. A copy of Protean Hulk, the other rare. Right, moving on to the uncommons. So Drowned Rosalka and a Starved Rosalka. Plaxamanta. And let's see what we've got here. So a couple of copies of those. There's one of the Guild Mages in here, the on-colour one. So how many copies of that? We've got just one. Simic Guild Mage. Vigian Graft Mage. It's got the graft ability on it. And we have 2 copies of that. We have Indrik Stomp Howler. So this is that beast that comes into play and it destroys a target artifact or enchantment. Simic Basilisk. There's graft on it, and there's 2 copies of that. Flash Foliage, so we're moving on to some instants here. A couple of copies of those. And now we move on to the commons. So Simic Initiate. You can see here there's a number of cards, not surprisingly, with graft on them. So we've got 3 copies of that, so that's the first 3 of us we've seen so far. Surveilling Sprite. 2 of those. Oh, Coiling Oracle. What have we got here? Is it 2 copies? Yeah, just 2 copies. Silkwing Scout. The Vigian Hydropon with graft 5, and there are, is that another 3 of? Yep, 3 of. Simic Ragworm, and we have that 2. Helium Squirter. Two of those. Okay, Shielding Plaques. 2 of those. stasis cell. Is that another 2 off? Yep. There's a thrive in here. A couple of copies of that. We've got a nice non-basic here in the form of Novigen, Heart of Progress. There's also the Simic Growth Chamber. So that was that cycle of lands in the block that came into play tapped, but you have to bounce a land back to your hand, and then when everything is said and done and you're good to go and this untaps, then you can start tapping for, in this case, green and blue. And looks like we got a couple of copies of that. And then the best bit here, the basic lands. So let's count off again and see what we've got here. So first piece of artwork in blue. We've only got 3 copies. Next piece of artwork. Three. Next piece. 3. Oh. And here's the 4th piece of artwork. How many copies of that? So just 2, yep. Moving on to the forests. So 3 copies of that. Next piece of art. 3 copies of that. Oh, that's nice. That'll be cool to look close up. Couple of copies of that, and then the final piece. Couple of copies of that, and then it's got one of these cards, which I think we've seen before actually in other decks, like this Pro Tour card. I'm trying to remember, I think didn't they crop up in boosters at one point as well, maybe? Was it 10th edition? They did them, probably other sets as well. Okay, so part 2, and here I'll only do 1 copy of it because we are just interested in the artwork. So yeah, very cool. And the other rare. Again, really interesting to see what's either going on or is in the background. There's a Plax Manta. always interested when sets have guild mages, like a cycle of them. It's always interesting to see, like what how the abilities work, how they may be shared out, how they cycle through if they've got like two different activation costs like this does in different colours, and how those might be represented through the cycle. There's a graft mage. Hendrick Stomp Howler. Right. I'll just leave that on for a little while. I'm curious if anything's going to pop from the background. I'm not quite sure what's in that centre piece of the church window. Time to look at a bit more detail on the Coiling Oracle. Interesting armour there as well, something I've not really paid a lot of attention to. We definitely have some quite oozy artwork in the Simic stuff, these plant mutants. See what we can see on this one. one's good as well, the growth chamber. Okay, let's look at some of these now under the basic lands. This next one's got some of those cool, like, I don't even know what you call those, but you know, so I keep thinking of gargoyle, but it's not really that, but you know, where they have a creature's head where there's actually water coming out of it. I don't know what the technical term is for that actually. And this next one I think is one of the pieces of artwork when I think of you know, this period. And of course the artwork here is coming from original Ravnica set, because that was the large set out of the three. And but this one in blue is the one that I think to me is the most identifiable as being in the original Ravnica set in terms of the basic land artwork. In fact, probably a lot of the top-down cityscape ones are the ones that I associate most with Ravnica. And we'll come on to the one in a moment, the forest artwork that I'm thinking of. Which is this one. So there we have it. Hopefully you enjoyed that revisit to the Dissension Simic Mutology deck. I'll include a link to the original unboxing. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. And I will catch you in a future video.